Hello friends, welcome to my kitchen. First, place 1 pound or about ground beef into a large mixing bowl. Crack in 2 eggs. They'll help bind everything together and give the tender, juicy texture. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of paprika, and sprinkle in 1 tablespoon of flour. Now, finely chop a small bunch of fresh parsley. As you chop, the aroma instantly fills the air, bright, earthy, and full of life. Add it to the bowl with the beef. Next, grate 1 onion. It's amazing how something so simple can add so much character to a dish. As soon as you start, that familiar aroma fills the air, the kind that instantly makes a kitchen feel alive. Onions bring not just flavor, but warmth. They soften into sweetness as they cook. Add the grated onion to the bowl. Now it's time to mix everything together. Use your hands for this step. It's the best way to really bring all the ingredients together. You'll feel when the texture is just right, soft, even, and full of promise. It's one of those little kitchen moments that feels grounding and familiar, like the way our parents and grandparents used to cook, not rushing, just enjoying the process. Once everything is well mixed, lay out a sheet of parchment paper on your work surface. Spread the meat mixture right on top, shaping it into a large, even rectangle. Take your time to smooth out the edges. A little care here makes all the difference later. There's something special about these simple, steady motions. They turn cooking into more than a task. They turn it into a memory. Friends, I always enjoy knowing where you're from. Please share your city and country. And if you're in the US, let me know your state. Next, drizzle a bit of olive oil into a warm pan and let it heat up until it shimmers. That's when you know it's ready. While it's heating, finely chop 1 onion. There's something so grounding about this simple task, isn't there? The sound of the knife on the cutting board, the rhythm of each slice. It's one of those kitchen moments that feels both calm and familiar. If you have any questions about the recipe, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, and I'll reply as soon as I can. Once the oil is ready, add the chopped onion to the pan. Right away, you'll hear that gentle sizzle, the start of something delicious. When the onions turn beautifully golden, stir in 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. The moment it hits the pan, the aroma changes, smoky, tangy, and just a little sweet. It's that irresistible flavor that wraps everything in warmth. Give it a good stir so every piece of onion is coated, and let the sauce simmer gently for a minute. Now, grate 1 carrot. That cheerful pop of orange always brightens the cutting board. Carrots add not just sweetness, but such a lovely balance to savory dishes. They're packed with beta-carotene, which is great for our eyes and skin, and full of natural fiber to keep us feeling good. Add the grated carrot to the pan, and as it cooks, it softens, blending beautifully with the onions and barbecue sauce. The colors deepen, the aromas grow richer. This is where a simple dish starts to feel special. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, a like would be much appreciated. It's the best way to support me. Now, take the colorful veggie mix and spread it evenly over the ground beef layer. Just look at all those colors. It already feels like a meal that could bring everyone running to the kitchen. I always love this moment, layering flavors, knowing that soon they'll all melt together into something warm, rich, and comforting. It's that kind of food that feels like home, simple ingredients, but full of heart. Next, melt a little butter in a pan until it starts to bubble softly. Friends, if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more recipes like this. Chop 2 mushrooms. I love how they soak up flavor like little sponges, bringing their deep, earthy aroma to the dish. Mushrooms are such quiet heroes of the kitchen, low in calories but full of nutrients, vitamin D, and antioxidants that help keep us strong. Add them to the pan and let them cook until golden and tender, when that cozy, savory scent fills the air. Now, finely chop 1 red onion. I always find red onions a little bit special, that vibrant color, the touch of sweetness, and the way they make any dish feel alive. They're rich in antioxidants too, great for supporting heart health. Add them to the pan and sauté together with the mushrooms for another few minutes. Everything softens and blends, filling the kitchen with that familiar, homey aroma. Then finely chop 3 garlic cloves. Ah, garlic. The moment it hits the warm pan, it transforms everything. The smell alone feels like a hug. I can still picture my mom stirring a pan of garlic and onions. That scent meant dinner was almost ready, and we'd all hover nearby, waiting for a taste. Add the garlic to the pan and cook just until it releases its aroma, tying all the flavors together beautifully. Take the pan off the heat and spread this fragrant vegetable mixture over the beef and veggie layers. This will add depth, juiciness, and that irresistible home-cooked flavor to every bite. Now, fill a small pot with water and bring it to a boil. Gently lower in 2 eggs and cook them for about 7 minutes, just enough to get firm, creamy yolks. While they're boiling, take 10 ounces, or about 300 grams of soft cheese and grate it. Soft cheese brings that rich, velvety texture we love, and it's full of calcium for strong bones and protein for lasting energy. Set aside half for later. We'll use it to top the roll, and place the rest in a bowl. Once the eggs are ready, peel and grate them on a fine grater. I always find this step oddly satisfying. The eggs turn so soft and fluffy, almost like snow. Grating them this way gives the filling that delicate, melt-in-your-mouth texture later on. They're packed with protein and B vitamins, real fuel for both body and soul. Then, add the grated eggs to the bowl with the cheese. Add 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise for creaminess. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and grate in 1 clove of garlic on a mini grater for a little extra kick. Stir everything together until smooth and creamy. This mixture will be the heart of our roll-up. Just imagine how it'll melt and mingle inside, making every slice rich, tender, and full of flavor. It's the kind of dish that feels made to share, the kind that brings everyone to the table before you even call them. Spread the creamy cheese and egg mixture evenly over the beef and veggie layer, making sure to reach every corner. That's where all the flavor hides. This silky, rich layer will melt into the meat as it bakes, adding that irresistible creaminess that ties everything together. Now comes the fun part, the roll. Using the parchment paper, gently lift one edge and start rolling the beef into a neat log. Take your time here. It's one of those moments that feels a bit like magic, watching all those colorful layers come together into something beautiful. Once it's rolled, wrap it tightly in foil. That shiny wrap isn't just for looks. It helps lock in all those juices so the roll turns out tender, moist, and full of flavor. Preheat your oven to 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius and bake for about 30 minutes. Now, drizzle a bit of olive oil into a hot pan. It should shimmer slightly. Then take 2 to 3 large potatoes and chop into small cubes. I always think there's something comforting about working with potatoes. It reminds me of those evenings when the whole family gathered in the kitchen, everyone helping out, chatting, laughing, and sneaking little bites as we cook. Add the potatoes to the pan and cook until they turn beautifully golden and crispy on the edges. Once they're nearly done, season with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Toss them well and let them finish cooking until they're crisp outside and soft inside, the perfect little bites of comfort. Now, take a baking dish and spread the golden potatoes across the bottom. They'll soak up all the juices from the roll later. Next, chop 1 bell pepper into thin strips. As you slice, take a second to admire the color, bright, bold, and full of life. Bell peppers aren't just beautiful, they're rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, perfect for keeping your immune system strong. Scatter them over the potatoes, creating a layer that looks as good as it'll taste. Then slice 1 to 2 tomatoes into thin rings. I love this step. The tomatoes bring a juicy freshness that brightens the whole dish. They're full of lycopene too, a powerful antioxidant that supports heart and skin health. Arrange the tomato slices neatly on top of the peppers. The layers will look like a little edible mosaic. By this time, your beef roll should be beautifully baked. Take it out of the oven and carefully unwrap the foil. Gently place the roll on top of the vegetables in the baking dish. In a small bowl, mix 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of barbecue sauce, and 1 teaspoon of mustard. Stir it well until smooth. This glossy mixture will give your roll that perfect caramelized shine. Brush it generously over the roll, coating it from end to end. Finally, sprinkle the remaining cheese over the top, letting it fall into all the little folds and corners. Slide the dish back into the oven for another 20 minutes, just until the cheese melts into a golden, bubbling crust. Once the roll is ready, slice into it gently, and you'll see all those beautiful layers inside. Juicy meat, tender vegetables, and that creamy melted filling. Place a piece on a plate alongside the roasted vegetables. Colors, the aroma, pure comfort on a plate. Sprinkle with fresh parsley for a final touch of brightness. Tender beef, caramelized veggies, that golden cheese topping, simple, cozy, and full of heart. Truly hope it brings the same comfort and joy to your table as it always has to mine. Thank you for cooking with me today, but that's not all. I have a second, equally delicious recipe for you. In a large bowl, add about 1.5 pounds or 700 grams of ground beef. Now grate 1 red bell pepper on a coarse grater. Red bell pepper is rich in vitamin C, and it brings a gentle freshness that lifts the dish instead of weighing it down, adding brightness and balance that feels just right for a home-cooked family meal. Then grate 1 onion on the same coarse grater. This step always feels a little nostalgic, the quiet sound of grating, the familiar aroma in the air. Friends, I always enjoy knowing where you're from. Please share your city and country, and if you're in the US, let me know your state. Next, place a sieve over a bowl and strain the grated vegetables through it to separate the juice. Do this slowly, without pressing too hard. This step always reminds me of quiet kitchen moments, when nothing is rushed and everything has its purpose. We want to save that juice. Don't throw it away. We'll use it later for the sauce. Add the strained vegetables to the bowl with the ground beef. Now, finely chop a small bunch of parsley. Fresh herbs always bring color and life to a dish, and parsley is rich in vitamins that support immunity and digestion. If you have any questions about the recipe, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, and I'll reply as soon as I can. Add it to the meat. Next, finely mince 2 cloves of garlic. Garlic adds deep flavor and has been trusted for generations for heart and immune health. Thank you for being with us, dear subscribers. You can now support our channel by becoming a sponsor and enjoy early access to new videos. We truly appreciate your support. Add them to the bowl. Now add 4 to 5 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, then 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Crack 1 egg into the bowl. Now mix everything well with your hand. Mixing by hand helps you feel the texture. The mixture should be soft, not sticky. Take your time. This slow mixing always brings back memories of standing beside my mother at the table, learning by watching. Place the meat mixture in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. While the meat rests, let's prepare the potatoes. Cut 1½ pounds or 750 grams of potatoes into large, even pieces. Even cuts help them cook at the same time, so the potatoes stay tender inside without overcooking, making them easier to digest and more gentle on the stomach. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, a like would be much appreciated. It's the best way to support me. Place the potatoes into a pot. Cover with water. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Cover with a lid and cook until tender. Then in a small saucepan, add 4 fluid ounces or 120 milliliters heavy cream, 2 fluid ounces or 60 milliliters milk. Heat gently until hot, but do not boil. Warm liquids mix better into potatoes and give a smoother puree. Remove from heat and set aside. Now, check the potatoes by piercing one with a knife. If it goes in easily, they're ready. Drain the water completely. Mash the potatoes with a masher while they are still hot. Then add about half a stick or 60 grams cold butter in small pieces, letting each piece melt before adding the next. Cold butter gives a silky texture. Next, add 60 grams Philadelphia cream cheese. This adds creaminess and a gentle tang. Now slowly pour in the warm cream and milk mixture, a little at a time, until the puree reaches your preferred consistency. Add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper and a small pinch of nutmeg. Mix well. Cover with a lid and keep warm. Now let's return to the meat. Form the mixture into even patties, just like you see in the video. Lightly wet your hands with water so the meat doesn't stick. As you shape them, move calmly and without rushing. This simple, familiar motion often brings back memories of family kitchens. Place the patties on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Bake in a preheated oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Now, take the reserved vegetable juice, add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of chili sauce, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Mix until smooth. After 15 minutes, remove the tray and brush the patties generously with the sauce. Return to the oven and bake for another 10 to 12 minutes until golden and appetizing. Next, in a bowl, add a few generous handfuls of salad greens. Next, slice 1 bell pepper. As the knife moves through its crisp flesh, it releases a gentle sweetness and a bright aroma. Bell pepper brings color, crunch, and natural vitamin C, which helps support the immune system. Transfer the slices into the bowl with the greens. Then, slice one cucumber into half rings. This shape keeps the cucumber juicy and tender, releasing a clean, cooling freshness. Cucumbers are refreshing and hydrating, which makes the salad especially pleasant and easy to enjoy. Add the cucumber slices to the salad. Slice one tomato into thin strips. Thin cuts allow the tomato to release just enough juice to blend softly with the dressing without making the salad heavy. Tomatoes add natural acidity and are known to support heart health. Gently place them into the bowl. Now cut one avocado into pieces. Its soft, creamy texture brings calm and balance to the salad, tying all the fresh vegetables together. Avocado is rich in healthy fats that help the body absorb nutrients from the greens. Carefully fold it into the salad so it keeps its shape. For the dressing, mix in a small bowl 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, Pour the dressing over the salad and mix gently. Fresh vegetables like these support heart health and bring lightness to the plate. Now carefully take the patties out of the oven and let their aroma fill the kitchen. They are golden on the outside, tender and juicy inside. Place a few patties onto a plate. Add a generous spoon of creamy mashed potatoes, smooth, rich, and comforting. Finish the plate with the fresh salad, bright and vibrant, bringing balance and freshness to every bite. This meal is beautifully balanced and full of care. It's hearty without being heavy, nourishing without being complicated. The kind of food that warms the body, brings calm to the heart, and naturally gathers everyone around the table, ready to enjoy a quiet, satisfying moment together. Thank you for cooking with me today. I hope this recipe brings comfort, good memories, and warmth into your home. But don't go just yet. There's another cozy and tasty recipe I'd love to share with you. Take a mixing bowl with 1.5 pounds, or 700 grams, of ground beef, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of rosemary, crack in 1 egg, now, add 1 cup, or 125 grams, of oatmeal into a blender. Pulse it until it turns into a fine flour. Friends, I always enjoy knowing where you're from. Please share your city and country, and if you're in the US, let me know your state. Transfer the oat flour into a bowl. Pour in half a cup, or 120 milliliters, of warm cream. Stir it into the flour until smooth and creamy. If you have any questions about the recipe, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, and I'll reply as soon as I can. Add this mixture to the ground beef. This secret step ensures the meat stays incredibly juicy and tender. Next, finely chop 1 onion. My mother always started her recipes by preparing this ingredient, saying it gave the food its true soul. Onions provide a beautiful sweetness, and they are packed with antioxidants to strengthen the immune system. The cozy aroma of onions gently cooking always tells my family that a comforting dinner is almost ready. Thank you for being with us, dear subscribers. You can now support our channel by becoming a sponsor and enjoy early access to new videos. We truly appreciate your support. Then drizzle a little olive oil into a pan. Sauté the onion for 3 to 4 minutes until it turns soft and golden. Meanwhile, grate 2 garlic cloves on a mini grater. Garlic delivers a rich aroma and is fantastic for our health, naturally helping the body fight off colds. I always smile when I grate garlic. Its scent instantly makes the kitchen feel warmer. Add the garlic to the pan. Cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. Friends, if you enjoyed the video, a like would be much appreciated. It's the best way to support me. Transfer the cooked vegetables into the bowl with the beef. Next, slice 4 to 6 potatoes into thin rounds. Potatoes are a classic foundation for family dinners, humble, hearty, and satisfying. They are rich in potassium, providing energy while bringing that comforting feeling of a true home-cooked meal. Now, grease a baking dish with a little olive oil. Arrange the potato slices in a beautiful spiral pattern across the bottom. Taking a moment to layer the vegetables like this makes our meal look just as wonderful as it will taste. Then, let's return to the bowl with your seasoned beef. Use your fingers to gently fold and combine all the ingredients. Preparing the meat by hand is a wonderful old-fashioned technique that guarantees the spices are evenly distributed, bringing a truly authentic touch to the meal. Next, shape the beef into even-sized meatballs, rolling them gently between your palms. Place the meatballs on top of the potato layer, like little jewels on a golden base. As they bake, the savory meat juices will soak right into the potatoes, making them incredibly tender and flavorful. Now, for the sauce, add 4 ounces or 120 grams of Greek yogurt into a small bowl. Season with 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Finely chop a bunch of fresh parsley. These bright greens are packed with vitamins and make me think of warm afternoons, picking fresh herbs. Stir the parsley into the yogurt. Pour in half a cup of water. Mix until smooth. Pour the sauce evenly over the meatballs and potatoes. Place the dish into the oven. Bake at 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Meanwhile, let's make a fresh salad. Place a few handfuls of mixed salad greens into a large bowl. Finely chop 1 bell pepper. The sweet crunch of peppers adds a wonderful brightness to the dish. There is simply nothing like the taste of a fresh pepper to wake up a recipe. Add it to the bowl. Next, slice 3 to 4 mini cucumbers into rings. These crisp vegetables provide a refreshing bite that perfectly balances our rich meal. They add a cool, clean flavor that everyone always enjoys. toss them in. Then, cut 5 to 6 cherry tomatoes in half. Their vibrant color and sweetness brighten up the entire plate. Eating them takes me right back to picking warm tomatoes off the vine in our family garden. Toss them into the mix. Cut 1 avocado in half and dice it into cubes. Avocados are full of healthy fats and essential vitamins, making our salad both nourishing and creamy. This rich texture elevates a simple bowl of greens into something truly special. Add the avocado to the bowl. Now, remove the baking dish from the oven. Grate 7 ounces or 200 grams of cheddar cheese. There is nothing quite like the sight of melting cheese to bring everyone running to the kitchen. It creates a beautiful layer that traps all those wonderful flavors underneath. Sprinkle the cheese generously over the top. Return the dish to the oven for another 20 minutes until perfectly golden. Next, whisk the dressing together. In a small bowl, combine 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix everything until smooth. Pour the fragrant dressing over the salad and toss gently. Finally, take the meatballs and potatoes out of the oven. Finely chop a few stalks of fresh green onions. I love adding this final layer because the mild onion flavor cuts through the richness of the cheese perfectly. It's like a breath of spring right on top of your warm dinner. Sprinkle them over the top to provide a pop of color and a fresh finish to the savory dish. Now, it is time to serve. Place a few juicy meatballs right on top. Scoop a generous portion of the tender potatoes onto a plate. Add a bright serving of the crisp salad on the side. This comforting meal is perfectly balanced, featuring savory meat, creamy potatoes, and refreshing vegetables. I truly hope your family enjoys this hearty dinner as much as mine does. Thank you for cooking with me today. Until next time, happy cooking!